Welcome to the overview of hand hygiene in regards to the Early Childhood Environmental Rating Scale 3rd edition. In this presentation, we are going to review who is responsible for hand hygiene, what hand hygiene is, when it's required, where in the ECHRs you will find hand hygiene scored, why it is important, and how to complete hand hygiene appropriately. So who is responsible for hand hygiene? Everyone. We know it's important for the children to wash their hands, but don't forget that adults are required to follow hand hygiene procedures as well. Any person that is routinely a part of the day will be taken into account on the ECHRs 3. According to the ECHRs 3, hand hygiene can be completed through hand washing or the use of hand sanitizer. That's right. Hand sanitizer can be used most of the time, although we will see on the next slide when hand washing must be used. Also, be sure to note on the how hand washing and hand sanitizer must be completed towards the end of this presentation. There are multiple times throughout the day that hand hygiene is required. When children arrive or re-enter the classroom, they must either wash their hands or use hand sanitizer. Before and after meals and snacks, this also must be done. Don't forget that adults should be completing hand hygiene during this time as well. Even if gloves are used, hands should be washed or sanitized before putting on the gloves. As expected, after toileting and diapering, hand hygiene must occur. Before and after use of sensory materials, hand hygiene must occur. However, if it's a dry sensory material, hands must only be washed after. For instance, children playing with sand would only need to participate in hand hygiene after play. However, children playing with shared finger paint, Play-Doh, or water would need to participate in hand hygiene both before and after use. Anytime a child touches or an adult touches a contaminated object, surface, such as trash can, lids, and pets, the hand hygiene must be completed. And finally, anytime the hands are visibly soiled, they must be washed with soap and water. This means that if hands are visibly soiled, they cannot just use hand sanitizer. For more clarification, see page 10, item 3 in the ECHRs handbook. There are 3 main areas in the ECHRs 3 that hand hygiene is scored. The first can be found in item 8, meals and snacks. You will note that there is an indicator in each level on hand hygiene. The first being that little to no attempt at meeting sanitary requirements occurs. In 3.3, some attempt is made. 5.3 requires that sanitary procedures are usually followed. This is where classrooms get dinged if adults are not following hand hygiene. And 7.1 is when sanitary procedures are met almost all of the time. The second place hand hygiene is scored is in item 9, toileting and diapering. You will find that the indicators have similar scoring as meals and snacks. The final area that hand hygiene is scored is within health practices. Throughout this item, hand hygiene is taken into account except on indicators that ask specifically about NAP procedures. Stay tuned for some bonus areas where you can boost your score in relationship to hand washing. Hand hygiene is not only important because it affects your score on the ECHRs 3, but because it affects the overall health and safety of your classroom. As you can see on the poster, Henry the Hand has a variety of bacteria on his hand that can cause a wide range of illnesses. Want to reduce the amount of illness already roaming around your classroom? Hand hygiene can help. In fact, studies show that proper hand hygiene can reduce the spread of diarrhea-related sicknesses by about 30% and respiratory infections by about 20%. Let's see how well you know your hand hygiene facts. What percentage of infectious diseases are transmitted by touch? Did you guess 80%? How about how many bacteria are on 1 square centimeter of your hand? About 1,500. Although some studies show it can be anywhere between 40,000 and 500,000. Okay, so what percentage of Americans do you think actually wash their hands after using the restroom? A 2015 study showed 60%. But how many use soap and water? Only 30%. I think this gives us more reason than wanting a good score to incorporate proper hand hygiene in our classroom. Okay, so let's talk about what proper hand hygiene looks like. As discussed, hand hygiene should be completed at the appropriate times and whenever hands are visibly soiled. Antibacterial soap is no longer permitted as it also kills the good germs. When using hand sanitizer, it must be at least 60 to 95% alcohol, and it must be closely supervised and out of reach of the child when not in use. Finally, the steps to hand washing must be completed properly. Hands should be first wetted, then soap added and scrubbed for 20 seconds. Note this used to be 10 seconds but has increased to 20. Once this has occurred, rinse the hands, dry them with a single-use paper towel, and use the towel to turn off the water. If washing more than one child's hands, water can be left on for the next child. See the next slide for some bonus information on scrubbing for 20 seconds. A few things to note about how hand hygiene can be used in other areas of the ECRS 3. Looking at item 5, child-related display. If a hand washing poster is displayed near the sink, it will count towards the credit of this indicator. Looking at item 16, indicator 7.4, if children are guided through the hand washing procedure using the poster, credit can be given. When thinking about the 20 seconds of scrubbing that should occur, if you sing a song or count with the children, credit can be given in item 19, 3.3, and or item 24, 3.1. If you have further questions, you can refer to the Caring for Our Children book, which you could purchase a copy of, or you can download free at the website listed. Please feel free to contact us at the Berea Regional Training Center